All right, we're backstage at the Key Arena getting ready for the Seattle show. I'm standing with
Bruce Green.
Bruce Green. What is your job?
I am the video director.
Bruce Green, video director. Okay, what's the best way for a fan to get themselves up on the screens that are up on stage?
I would say be enthusiastic, part of the show, and down close near the barricade.
Give us a walkthrough. Walk us through your normal day-to-day.
Our normal day-to-day starts, we have a crew that comes in, first call in the morning to start setting up projectors and all the cabling that goes to that. Then the rest of the crew comes in later in the morning to start setting up all our engineering racks, our monitors, and then we have a lot of cabling to do. And then throughout the day, once the stage rolls in, we'll set up all our cameras, cable all that to the stage, and finish setting up all our engineering racks.
How long does it take you to break down?
Breakdown's pretty quick, like about an hour or so. Everyone's really on the go, and it comes down much faster than it goes up.
What about start? From start to finish. From when you walk in the door till your job is done, the show's about to start. I mean, how long does that normally take if you really had to go?
Well, me personally, I usually come in say 10 o'clock, and I'm here till, depending on when the show comes down, 11:30. I'm here till 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So you're looking minimum probably 12, 13 hours, and some of the guys are here 15, 16 plus hours.
Give us some quantities when it concerns your job in particular. In other words, amount of cable, amount of cameras.
Well, the amount of cameras is kind of blows a lot of people away. Right now I have 25 cameras and 25 corresponding television monitors to see those, as well as we have a hard drive video server called a Do-Re-Mi we do playback on. And I have a 32 input router that I cut the show with, as opposed to using a traditional switcher. It's actually just using a routing, and we route 3 different signals to 8 screens. So 2 screens have separate feeds, and then another screen we have what's called a quad split, which is actually 4 images going into one screen. So the 25 cameras they're all security type cameras, so they're all unmanned. I have 25 cameras, but I don't have any I have one person that does 2 remote cameras for me.
Do you save all the shows that you're recording at the same time? If so, how big's the hard drive?
Actually, the hard drive is we're just using for playback itself. We don't normally record each show, one, because we're actually cutting 3 different shows. So the hard drive could record that if we need to. Also, we have a beta deck that we can record onto tape.
With Metallica playing stuff they never played live on tour and the set list literally changing every night, how does that affect your job?
It doesn't really affect my job. It helps definitely know that every song that's going to be in the set list. But because the way we have these cameras set up, it's more dependent on where the band members are during the song. What we try and do is capture, they walk into a shot, and we want to take that shot and stay on it until they exit the frame. So it's not really about cutting to the music itself. It's more as cutting to the best camera angle that the particular band member is in front of.
Keeping that in mind as a video director, how well do you have to know the Metallica songs themselves?
Not as well as a traditional show. This is a non-traditional, non-conventional video show. You definitely you got to know where the choruses are, where the solos are. But like I say, it's more important. Obviously you want to know when Kurt and Robert are going to be singing choruses, so they're going to be at one of the mics. But there's 8 mics up on stage. They're going to be anywhere. It's more important, I think, to just be able to capture a good image of each person, and it's very random. It just because these cameras are all fixed and locked down, they don't move. You have to wait for someone to step in to be able to take the shot, and that's what the show is about.
Favorite Metallica song live on this tour?
Actually, I have a lot of them. I like Saint Anger. I like Sandman. That's always been one of my favorites. I think that's what converted me to a Metallica fan. And actually, Nothing is great. But we don't do video on that, so sometimes I just go out and watch that song.
Tell me about when the band first comes out. In fact, the fans next to me were saying before the lights came up about those light bulb sort of fixtures that are around the bases of the stage, and everybody was curious, like, what the hell are those? They're going to blow up, and they turn on. I guess a nice raw feel, sort of like the Saint Anger CD. Is that what you guys are going for? Or?
It's really a tribute to the end of the last tour, which ended in halogen lights that came on, and also it's just a real intimate way to start the show, not this big bombastic entrance it's Metallica. What do you need? Just some light bulbs turning on and the band in the crowd, and it's huge.
With Metallica playing stuff they never play live on this tour and the set list literally changing every night, how does that affect your job?
Well, it's a lot more music to study for everybody so that you're prepared to run whatever they throw at you every night. But it keeps it exciting and interesting. You come on a tour that goes for a year and a half and it's the same songs every night. May as well be wrapping up cheeseburgers and shooting them out to cars, Any monkey can do that. But to sit there and Metallica show, it's a run every night.
Butch Allen, lighting director.
Hi there, how you doing?
Compare the Madly in Anger at the World Tour to previous Metallica tours from your perspective.
It's my first Metallica tour, so I have no perspective.
Walk us through your normal day-to-day as a lighting director. What you do, what time you get here, what time you finish. Exactly what are your duties?
I'm in about 9 o'clock in the morning. I come in, I look at the mix position, the spotlight positions, talk to my crew chief and my crew to make sure there's no big hurdles we have to jump over. Then take care of paperwork and cleaning up notes from the show the day before. Talk to John Broderick, the designer, and make sure he doesn't have any other things for me to deal with. And then work our way through to showtime.
Everybody's getting this question. Your favorite Metallica song that they do live?
Man, my favorite one and why? There's a few. Last Caress is great because I back when I still had hair, I was a punk. And let's see what else. There's so many of them. How can you just pick a favorite out? Every night, I love to hear Creepin' Death, Master of Puppets, Frantic is fun. I mean, I'm a Metallica fan. I like them all.
Standing with Patrick Paulson, video designer for the Metallica show. What's the best way for a fan to get themselves on screen?
Well, this show is way different than a traditional video show. There's no-man cameras. There's like 30 security cameras, and the show is shot kind of in the point of view. The action moves in and out of it. So you won't see, like you normally see at a rock show, cameras shooting the audience for the kind of reaction. It's a way different show than that.
Okay. Compare the Madly in Anger at the World Tour to previous Metallica tours from your perspective.
Well, I don't know. That's a hard one. I mean, they're all different. They're all unique in their own way. This one from the stage being in the round to from my perspective, this trying this new idea with the video, which is definitely a different look. The idea was to not put the emphasis on the video. So it takes your eye away from the stage. The idea was that you could come to the video, get little snippets of action moving in the frame, but your eye would always go back to the stage. With that, we didn't want the video to be the center of the attention or to distract you from what's going on stage. So in that way, that's different.
Walk us through your normal day-to-day on a work day, from when you wake up to when you're done here.
Well, I wake up a little later than most people. I'm not I'm not working on the crew like pulling the cables through and all that kind of stuff. So I get up a little later, and then I come in and wait for the stage to move into position and start setting cameras or trying new ideas with the little cameras that we have. Get that set up by 3 o'clock or so, and then we're basically waiting for the show to happen. At that point, when we do the set change, we go back in and refocus the cameras and make sure they're all set up. But a lot of this is once you get your work done, you're kind of waiting for the show to happen.
With Metallica playing stuff they've never played live before on this tour, and the set list changing literally every night, how does that affect your job?
It does, in this particular sense, because of the way the video's set up, it doesn't affect it that much. The guys who really it affects are the lighting guys, for one, because you have to create a lighting look for every song, and that requires a lot of programming. The backline guys, of course, that need to know what's going on with the song changes, because that determines what guitars the guys are going to play. Or the pyro guys or the laser guys. I think they're way more affected than I am, but I'd say the person that's affected the most is the lighting designer.
Give us some details like quantities used in your job, amount of cameras, things like that.
Well, on this one, we're, like I said, it's a non-traditional camera show. It's just point of view, which means they're static cameras that are little security cameras, basically, and they're mounted on mic stands and drum kits and various places around the stage where there seems to be the most amount of action. And it's different because you're not directing the show. The show, in a sense, is directing itself, and you're following the action.
One last question. Everybody's going to get this one. What's your favorite Metallica song done live?
I'm actually kind of a sucker for the slower songs. I like Nothing Else Matters. I like the lyrics, and I like the melody in that song, and I like that the show kind of slows down right there, but the intensity doesn't change. I like that song.
Reed, you're part of the Pyro show here. Let's start off with some. Have you done any other Metallica shows for tours?
Yeah, I did Summer Shit in '94.
Okay. That means this question is relevant. Compare the Madly and Anger at the World Tour to previous Metallica tours from a Pyro perspective.
This one's going to be a lot bigger, a lot more fire, and some of the loudest explosions you've ever heard in your life.
Walk us through your normal day-to-day as a Pyro guy. Like, what time do you get here? What exactly are your duties before, after, during?
We start at 7:15 in the morning, unload the trucks. From there, we'll go into the pyro room, start mixing all the stuff, start making all the bombs and explosions and stuff, and load all the mortars up. Then we wait for the stage to roll into place. In the meantime, we get the trusses ready. Trusses fly up, stage rolls in. We start putting in all the fire and the propane dragons and all that stuff. And at that point, we will finish that up, do a continuity check, which is basically making sure everything's going to go when it's supposed to go, get ready to do it, eat dinner, wait for the show to start.
I was talking to James yesterday, and he was saying, what happens to you? Can you call audibles for a live show or something like that? I said, what happens with Pyro if you're standing in the wrong place? And he says, dude, if we're standing in the wrong place, they know it. We have spotters, and the Pyro does not go off.
That is very true. We definitely don't want that situation to ever happen.
Can you give us some details, like quantities of what's involved in the Pyro aspect and what you guys do on tour?
Let's see, we've got, we probably got about 100 pounds of propane. We've got pretty close to 50 loud explosions. We've got the war scene again, which is bigger and better than it's ever been. That's about it. I mean, there's a lot of pyro.
That's good.
A lot of fun.
That's a great quote. That's what I'm looking for. With the Metallica playlist, with Metallica playing stuff they never play live on this tour and the set list literally changing every night, how does that affect your job?
It only affects it in the sense of where things are going off. It's generally the same songs, so the songs will move around in the set. It doesn't really affect me that much. Same buttons are getting pushed anyway.
With parents always saying, don't play with fire or matches, knowing what you do you feel like your parents may have been holding you back by saying that?
No, I had no idea I was going to get into this. I kind of fell into it. I came from playing in bands and stuff, so no, I don't think so. I think they're more worried now.
All right, these last two are fun. Tell us about the first moment in which you knew that this is what you wanted to do with your life.
That's a good question. I would probably say, wow, probably the first time when I shot Pyro off and I heard the audience reaction was definitely, I was hooked.
When you go to a birthday party and someone asks you to light the candles on the cake, do you feel like you're working?
Definitely. July 4th, hate it.
All right. What's your favorite live Metallica song and why?
Anything off Kill 'Em All, just because it just brings back great memories.